Okay, for those of you folks who are here for the regular fiction books, it's been quite a while since I've done a regular book review. Um, but this time around, we're going to review or talk about Bad Girl in the Box by Tim Curran. The way I have to throw this out there that the way I chose and selected to read this book, because I have so many to-be-read books on various multiple shelves. I picked a shelf and I did a random letter generator until I got the letter B, and that's how I ended up picking this one. So this is my first time ever having read anything by the author Tim Curran. I will have to admit, this is from Silver Shamrock Publishing, which I guess they are no longer operating. I'm not going to go into the details of what went down with that, and I'm just not going to talk about it. We're just here to talk about this book in general. So this book is about, it's about a cul-de-sac, a neighborhood, I guess you could say, and there's this phenomenon that has happened in certain places where meat will randomly rain from the skies. So I like the fact that the author took a concept like that and built a story around it. But what really made this kind of super cringe was the fact that the main character, and her name is Bree, but she has an eating disorder, and just the way the author talks about this lady's eating disorder was just really cringe. I think it was kind of way over the top with their descriptions. I get he's trying to be, it felt super edgy, super edgelord with some of the descriptions of the gore near the end of the story. Oh, we're buckle up, Buttercup. We're gonna get into this because, yeah, this was 310 pages. It did take me quite a bit of time to suffer through this, I guess you could say. When I first started reading it, I picked up on the cringe factor right away, and I was like, oh my god, what did I get myself into with reading this book? And once I got to that, I think I was only maybe 30 pages in, and I went to Goodreads, because sometimes Goodreads never fails me, and I'll look and see, have any of my friends read this book, and then if no friends have read it, I'll go and I'll look and see, I'll read a couple of different star ratings just to see what people thought. And I saw lots of bad ratings for this, so I was like, oh man. I'm like, do I carry on? And I'm like, well, let's just suck it up and deal with it. We'll manage to pull through this. I mean, I'm saying that, and I'm going to tell you right now, I gave this a 2 out of 5 star rating on Goodreads. It was just not for me. I was this close to giving it a 1 out of 5 star rating on Goodreads, and you're like, but why are you filming a video talking about this? The only reason I'm filming a video to talk about this is because I have heard some people in the community have said that sometimes maybe someone will hate or not really like a book, but then it might be for someone else. So I'm going to give this book a chance. I'm going to tell you everything that I really thought about this book, and then let you make your own decision on that. But yeah, so there's this embodiment, this kind of I don't know what it is, that they called it an elemental, I guess, near the end of the book, and I'm going to try to do this without spoiling it, but yeah, so the people, they gather up this meat after this meat storm happens, they eat the meat, they become addicted to it, and it's this whole cycle starts to happen in this community. They start to see dead relatives that they are missing, or just in subtle ways, this entity that's the embodiment of the meat, I guess you could say, tries to take over this little neighborhood. It tries to corrupt them, and corrupt them it does, because radically the neighborhood, within a matter of days, becomes decrepit and decays, and yeah. But I did find a few things kind of confusing with this story, because when you get to this point in the story where you know that things are really ramping up, you know that everything's on a decline, and you've got the main character of Bree, and you're kind of hoping that she's going to be the hero that saves the day. And when it gets to the climactic part of the story, the author went and took a totally different turn that I did not expect. He went into a flashback scenario where he kind of went back into the main character's eating disorder and the history of her eating disorder, and he tried to tie that into the elemental entity that is the meat that's corrupting the neighborhood, and that kind of confused me because I'm like, what does that have to do with what's going on with the main story? It seemed like a very confusing kind of tie or knot into the story that just really it didn't feel necessary to me. Also, there was the character of the good boy, which is supposed to be her stepbrother, I think. And they kind of like, there's whole full-on conversations with this person, but then they allude to later on him being like, hey, he is dead as well, and he was just a figment of her imagination, which was really confusing. And yeah, because he drove her there, dropped her off, and yeah, so it's very, very confusing at times, this story. But yeah, it was very cringe. I'm going to say, like, trigger warning, the eating disorder stuff was very cringe. If that's something that easily sets you off or you find uncomfortable, you're probably not going to want to read this because, like I said, the cringe factor was just not straight up to a 10 when it came to that. Some of the gore was just a little uncomfortable. Like, it was just kind of over the top. Like, I felt a lot of it was very unnecessary. And don't get me wrong, because I like reading horror and I don't mind reading gore in horror stories, but this one was just it was just too weird for me. I didn't enjoy it. I just did not enjoy it, and I really don't want to ramble on about this book and how I kind of hated this book, to be honest with you, but I was being generous when I gave it a 2 out of 5 star rating. I will try to see if this is on Amazon with the company that published this out of business. I don't know if there are, by chance, any copies still being sold by Silver Shamrock. I don't know. I do know that a lot of the authors that had contracts under Silver Shamrock and went and tried to find new homes for their books. So I will have a link on Amazon if you absolutely must read this. And I'm also going to throw down my Ko-fi link. If you got something from watching this video, throw me down a few bucks. It helps me. Every little bit, matters. If you came here looking for more, book reviews and recommendations, by all means, hit that subscriber button, hit that notification bell so you know when I upload. But yeah, guys, was not overly crazy about this. I just didn't enjoy it. I'm honestly, I'm going to donate this to a little free library someplace. I'm just going to release it to the wild. It's not something I want to keep on my shelves. It was an uncomfortable read, and I don't even have eating disorders or anything, but it was just too cringe for me. Too much, too over the top, and just not for me. This cover is just weird. Just weird. Like, I like the idea of the mystery meat raining from the skies and, like, building a story on that, but aside from that, this was kind of garbage. And another thing is, I'm a big stickler for this kind of shit too, but the font that's on the cover does not match the font that's on the side. I don't know why they don't... Why do that? Why make the fonts too different? Like, the D in bad is different from the front to the side. I don't know if I'm ever going to read anything else by Tim Curran. This might be a one and done for me because, like, I didn't really care for the author's writing style. At times it was kind of hard to pick up, like, because he kind of used some phrases and wordings that were kind of like UK, but then other times I felt like he was an American author, and I really don't know, and I don't care at this point, but that's what we got. That's all I'm going to say about this, and later, guys.